Okay, we're looking at this Instagram math riddle that is driving the so-called internet crazy. I think they'd have better things to do than this. But here we go. We have this math riddle, and they've essentially given us, let's talk about the math to this. There are three major variables. You have your apples, right? You have your bananas, and you have your coconuts. Okay, call it C. And there are essentially three variables and three equations. So mathematically, you should be able to solve the answer. And if we look at the very first equation, it comes off as a very easy question. Because right away you go, three variables that all must be the same. We're assuming the apple represents the same number. Is equal to 30. Okay, well, I'm going to set this up algebraically. How would I set this up? I'm going to represent apples with the letter A. So the very first equation is going to be A plus A plus A equals 30. Okay? Which gives us A, and A. Think of it like there's a coefficient of 1 in front of all of these. Well, that's 1 plus 1 plus 1. We get 3A is equal to 30. I need to isolate, get A by itself, and because it's multiplication here, you technically divide both sides by 3. Okay? Here we cancel out and get a 1. So A is equal to 10. Great. That makes sense intuitively when we go up. There we go. 10 plus 10 plus 10 equals 30. Pans out wonderfully. Now, what that does, though, is make us think the rest of the question is very straightforward. If this is the case, then we have apples must be 10. Okay? So we have our variable A. We'll go to question number 2 here. And it's apples plus banana equals 18. So if we're taking this as a straightforward question, we're assuming that these symbols represent just a number and that the symbols themselves don't differ. So if that's the case, we already know A is equal to 10. We solved that in the first question. So we have 10 is equal to. And because we have a B and a B, we essentially have 2B is equal to 18. Great. You do like reverse BEDMAS to isolate the letter B here. So we go to reverse BEDMAS, let's say, and I'm going to move, because it's positive 10 on this side, when it comes over here it becomes negative 10, so we're going to have 2B is equal to 18 minus 10. 18 minus 10 is 8, so 2B is equal to 8. Same as before, because this is multiplied by B, we divide both sides by 2. And B should be the number 4. Okay, seems okay to us. When we go back up here and we write it, 10 plus 4 equals 18. Check. We got two things, it looks like, that pan out really, really nicely. So we take this information and we go to the third question here, and we have 4. Bananas plus coconuts equal to number 2. So let's go to question number 3. Oops. Write it in blue. Question 3. We have bananas plus coconuts. Coconuts will do in blue. Equals the number 2 we said. We know that bananas is 4. So we're going to write 4 in. 4 plus C equals 2. This seems really straightforward. Is it plus? No. Should be minus. Yes. Oh, good. I was going to say, we're about to get a negative value. Here we go. Minus. Okay. I'm going to bring 4 to the other side because it's positive 4 here. When it goes to the other side, it becomes negative. This is a negative C. So it still stays negative C equals 2 minus 4. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. But I also have negative C. So I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation. So that's this side and this side by negative 1 to get rid of the negative C. And that's going to give me C is just equal to the number 2. Okay, if this is true again, notice I keep saying if. 4 minus 2 is 2. Checks out great. So according to this, if the symbols, and what I'm saying now is really important, if the symbol bananas is the same as this symbol bananas and this symbol coconuts is the same as this symbol coconuts, then the answer should be 2 plus 10 plus 4, which would give us 16. But Is that what these symbols really mean? It's not clarified in the question, so we don't know. This could be the case, but as our very wise friend pointed out, there are 2 coconuts here and only 1 coconut here. So does that mean that each of these coconuts represents a value? In other words, if coconuts, these 2 things equal to 2, are each of these coconuts 1? Maybe. Okay. So if each of those coconuts are actually equal to 1, okay, that's another possibility, then this is actually the number 1. Our apples are really easy. They stood out. There's only 1 apple in the question, so it could be the number 10. But if that's the case with the coconuts, let's look at the bananas. There's technically, it's hard to see 1, 2, 3, 4 bananas. 1, 2, 3, 4 bananas. 1, 2, 3, 4 bananas. 1, 2, 3 bananas. Okay. What does that mean again? Does that mean that each of these bananas is actually equal to 1? Because if that's the case, then this symbol of bananas actually only equals the number 3, because there's 3 bananas here. And if that's true, then you have 10 plus 3 plus 1 is 14. So which answer is it? It's kind of unclear. Depends on what they're saying. If we take it at face value, then I would say it's 16 because any banana represents the number 4. But if we take the symbols to represent like each coconut and each banana to represent a number, then we could kind of argue that the answer is 14 in this question. Okay? So that's probably why he's driving everyone mental, because it could potentially have 2 answers, this question.